Imagine becoming the face of a billion-dollar superhero franchise, only to make headlines for everything except your movie. One arrest could be dismissed as a mistake. Two might be called bad luck. But when accusations, police reports, restraining orders, and criminal charges start piling up across multiple states and even different countries, people begin asking a very different question. What exactly was happening with Ezra Miller? From choking allegations in Iceland, to arrests in Hawaii, to a felony burglary case in Vermont, Ezra Miller's story became one of Hollywood's most shocking public downfalls. But separating fact from internet rumors isn't easy. So today we're breaking down every major controversy in chronological order. What actually happened, what was proven in court, what wasn't, and where Ezra Miller stands today. Before the controversies, Ezra Miller seemed destined to become one of Hollywood's biggest names. After standout performances in We Need to Talk About Kevin and The Perks of Being a Wallflower, Miller quickly earned a reputation as one of the industry's most talented young actors. Then came two major franchises. They played Credence Barebone in the Fantastic Beasts series. And, perhaps more importantly, they became Barry Allen, better known as The Flash, in DC's expanding superhero universe. Warner Brothers invested hundreds of millions of dollars into The Flash, expecting it to become one of the studio's biggest releases. But while the film was being completed, Ezra Miller's personal life was beginning to spiral into controversy. The first incident that attracted widespread public attention happened in April 2020. A short video surfaced online showing what appeared to be Ezra Miller grabbing a woman by the throat outside a bar in Reykjavik, Iceland. The footage spread across social media within hours. Witnesses claimed the situation began as playful interaction before becoming unexpectedly aggressive. The woman was reportedly pushed to the ground. Although the video generated enormous backlash, no criminal charges were filed. And because authorities never pursued the case, many details remain unclear. Still, the clip marked the first serious dent in Miller's public image. At the time, many assumed it would simply become another celebrity scandal that eventually faded away. They were wrong. Nearly 2 years later, everything changed. In March 2022, Ezra Miller was arrested in Hilo, Hawaii. According to police, Miller became disruptive inside a karaoke bar. Authorities alleged Miller shouted obscenities, grabbed a microphone from a woman singing, and lunged toward another customer playing darts. Police arrested Miller on charges of disorderly conduct and harassment. The incident quickly became international news. But before the headlines had even faded, another incident occurred. Less than a month later, police were called to a private residence. Authorities alleged that Miller became angry during a gathering and threw a chair. The chair struck a woman in the forehead, leaving a cut. Miller was arrested again, this time on suspicion of second-degree assault. Eventually, prosecutors dismissed the assault case after the alleged victim declined to cooperate. Legally, the case ended there, but publicly, the damage continued to grow. 2 arrests in less than a month dramatically shifted public perception. People began asking whether these were isolated incidents or signs of a much larger problem. As media attention intensified, additional allegations surfaced. One of the most publicized involved activist Tokata Iron Eyes. Tokata's parents sought a protective order, claiming Ezra Miller had exercised inappropriate influence over their child after meeting them years earlier. However, Tokata, who was legally an adult at the time, publicly denied the allegations. They stated they were acting voluntarily and rejected claims that Miller had manipulated them. The court was ultimately unable to serve Miller with the order. No criminal charges resulted from the allegations. Around the same period, parents in Massachusetts obtained a temporary harassment prevention order involving Miller and their non-binary child. Again, Miller denied wrongdoing, and the order later expired. Then another story emerged. Reports claimed Miller was housing a woman and her children at their Vermont property under potentially unsafe conditions. Authorities investigated the situation, but no criminal child endangerment charges were filed. Even so, the sheer number of reports created an overwhelming media narrative. Whether proven or unproven, each new allegation reinforced the perception that Ezra Miller was becoming increasingly unpredictable. Unlike many previous incidents, this one resulted in a criminal conviction. In May 2022, police investigated reports that bottles of alcohol had been stolen from a private residence in Stamford, Vermont. Security footage allegedly linked Miller to the property. In August, police charged Miller with felony burglary. Initially, Miller pleaded not guilty. But in January 2023, the case took a different turn. As part of a plea agreement, Miller pleaded guilty to the lesser offense of unlawful trespass. The felony burglary charge was dismissed. The court sentenced Miller to 1 year of probation, a financial penalty, continued compliance with mental health treatment. It became the only major criminal case that concluded with a conviction. The controversy had become impossible to ignore. Ezra Miller released a public statement saying they had been suffering from complex mental health issues. They announced they had begun ongoing treatment and apologized for alarming friends, family, and the public. Meanwhile, Warner Brothers faced an impossible decision. Should they cancel a film that reportedly cost over $200 million, replace the lead actor, or release it despite the controversy? The studio chose to move forward. The Flash premiered in 2023 with only minimal promotional appearances from Miller. Although critics praised parts of Miller's performance, the film underperformed commercially. Whether the controversies directly affected ticket sales remains debated. Conclusion: 9:40 to 10:30. Today, Ezra Miller has largely stepped away from the spotlight. There have been no major acting announcements since The Flash. Some allegations never resulted in charges. Others ended without convictions. And only the Vermont trespassing case concluded with a guilty plea. But regardless of the legal outcomes, the series of controversies permanently reshaped Miller's public image. It's a reminder that in Hollywood,